Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 24th to the 30th of October 2016. We are building up to the new moon in Scorpio, so that will be going through the dark moon first and then into the new moon at the weekend. But before that we still have plenty of Scorpio energy. So the Sun moves into Scorpio this weekend, and so does Mercury by Tuesday, so there's a lot of energy there already. Scorpio is about deep alchemical transmutation. It's the deep magic, it's the 8th sign of the zodiac, and it's dark magnetic water. So when the Sun goes into this sign, we're really heading into the darkest month of the year. We're heading within, into our darkest places. The festival that's celebrated at this time of year is Halloween, or Samhain, and this is very relevant. It's not about chainsaw massacres and creepy clowns. It's actually about facing our own demons and honouring those that have passed as well. And the reason for this is that the Sun passes over the bottom end of the Milky Way, and the ancients saw this as the river that souls pass back up through when they leave this realm to go back to the soul realm. So it's a time of passing, it's a time of remembering what's gone on in the last cycle, and it's a time for deep reverence of the past, cleansing ourselves and getting ready for a new future. So we do this within ourselves as well, because astrology is very much about working on the shadow self, and we've had 3 years of Saturn going in and out of Scorpio, which has really taught us to have a backbone, to have a spine, and to have a look at those shadow sides of ourselves. So this, I feel, will be the final clearing of that, as we now have Saturn in Sagittarius direct this week with Venus as well, showing us where we can step forwards. So for this week it's worth going inwards, it's worth exploring any repressed anger, any anxiety, any behaviour patterns that come from lower motivation, any projections onto others that we really need to take and own that it's our fear, it's our low vibration that we're projecting outwards, but we need to take that and own it, learn from it, release it. So this is the alchemy. The symbols for Scorpio are the scorpion with the base, stinging tail, that's the manipulation, that's the repressed anger, that's the dark motivations within us. And then the Scorpio symbol turns into the 2 serpents, the Ida, Pingala, that go up the Sushumna, go up the spine, and this is the sign of healing, the staff with the 2 serpents. So the serpent energy rising, that's our ability to raise up our energy. And then the 3rd symbol for Scorpio is the eagle, which is the symbol for the pineal gland opening. So we have the scorpion, the base, stinging, manipulative, raising that energy, which is the inner work, which is us taking responsibility for ourselves, and then the opening of the winged disc or the eagle, which is the pineal gland, the raising that energy up for higher mastery. So it's said that Scorpio is the use or abuse of power, and this is what we can see. This is the alchemical journey that we can go on, and the deep transmutation from base to crown, from base metal to gold, rising up that energy and making that deep healing possible. So with Scorpio being magnetic water, what we're looking at is the subconscious, and the subconscious is imprintable. So all our early experiences, anything that we've repressed, anything that we've pushed down, tried to ignore, blame others for, or just tried to forget altogether, that has been imprinted in our subconscious, and quite often in our early lives we then attract relationships to us so that that person can pull that part of us out. We normally blame that other person and carry the story forwards, but this is the time of year where we need to own it, like I say, and go in and cleanse it for ourselves. So think of your subconscious as imprintable matter. What's been buried alive in there? What's been squished down? What's been pushed to the corners and hidden in the dark? Because as the Sun and Mercury and the new moon come along this week, that darkness doesn't exist anymore. There's a light shone into all the corners, and we'll be able to see for ourselves what's been lurking beneath. So this is the Halloween energy. It's the ghosts, it's the demons, it's the darkness, but it's the bravery to go in and face that, and to challenge it, and to put it to rest once and for all as we raise our energy up. So by Tuesday we have Mercury in Scorpio, So this will give us the clarity and the insight. This will give us the laser vision to see what's been happening and why. And for me with Mercury, I often think of time travel. Can we go backwards? Can we go to the first experience, first time we had that emotion? So if you're feeling something now, then go back to the first time that you felt that way, because it's possibly not the case that you need to blame the person or the situation now. It's where did you pick up that, and what did you make from it, and what are you storing deep inside? So Mercury is the symbol of the caduceus. It is the serpents raising up the staff. It is the winged disc opening at the top, the symbol of healing. So while Mercury is in Scorpio, we have a double healing aspect possible. So if Scorpio is the use and abuse of power, and we've faced the abuse, we've faced the running away from, we've faced the blaming and the projecting side of ourselves, then when we raise that up, how should we feel? It should be empowerment. It should be that we feel self-lit, strong, able to own the aspects of ourselves and cleanse away anything that doesn't belong. And this general sense of lightness comes from that, as we have that eagle aspect, as we soar high above with strong wings and keen eyes, ready to actually put our power to good use. So once we've cleansed the unconscious, once we've reached the subconscious, brought everything to the conscious, brought everything to light with Mercury and Scorpio this week, then we can afford to just fly. We can afford to feel open and free, because once we do this, we never have to go round and round again in circles. If you think of an emotional story that you've had rolling through your life, that means it hasn't been cleansed each time, so it just keeps coming back. If we ignore it completely, it keeps coming back worse and worse. But if we only do part of the healing, then it keeps returning in different forms. So can we heal that once and for all and actually be free of it, and then be happy and fly in the knowledge that that never has to happen again? But like I say, think of yourself as a pulsing beacon of vibration. If you raise that power up, then just take a moment to enjoy that high vibrational living, because we do affect each other invisibly just by how we're being. And this is a time to play with that energy and to soar on the thermals with that eagle. Then just before we get to the new moon in Scorpio, we have the dark moon in Libra. Because the new moon is at 7 degrees Scorpio, that means the few days beforehand the moon is in Libra and does meet with Jupiter, so another expansion here. There can be a creative outlet if you want to face those demons and bring them out. Is there a way that you can write poems? Is there a way that you can draw or dance or do some body energy work just to help the cells release some of that energy and make sure that it's gone permanently? So the dark moon in Libra may well bring up some of the relationship dynamic. Like I say, relationships are somebody coming along to press your buttons so that you can realise you've got buttons and to release that energy. So relationships are up for a nice cleanse now, as we realise we've been blaming the other person or attracting people from a repressed energy in our subconscious in order to play out those scenarios. But what happens when relationships take a higher level? What happens when that becomes soul flow rather than psychological battle? This is what we've got to look forward to if we can actually do some work on that by Thursday and Friday this week. Two souls flowing happily, allowing each one to be their true self and trusting that they'll flow together and can spend time apart in the natural rhythm of life rather than having the needs and wants of the structure and planning and the limitation that we tend to try and put on relationships with the controlling mind. So a great deal of creativity, but a great deal of flow and air and freedom that can come in if we actually look at our partners and our friends and our family as independent souls that have the perfect right to be who they're being. They're all going through their own story, but not to place want and need onto them and then blame them for it, but just to allow them to be a free soul and to hold our own vibration, so that we naturally attract to us people on the same vibration and we can flow and play and create more easily. So that's the moon meeting Jupiter in Libra on Thursday, and then going into the dark moon in Libra on Friday, just to release some of those outdated relationship dynamics of want and need. And then by the weekend we have the new moon in Scorpio, 7 degrees on Sunday, UK time, that's 5:38 p.m. So by the end of the weekend we have the Sun, Moon and Mercury all lined up in Scorpio, all combining the work that they've been doing this week into one easy package: release, purify and expand. So this is the Trinity. When we go through a rite of passage, we first need to release anything that we've brought to awareness and that we're not going to take forwards. Then we hold a state of purity. That's the higher vibration. That's when we've raised the serpent energy and opened up to our grander selves. So just a moment of purity there and feeling your new vibration. Then we don't need to call anything in, because it's that vibration itself that will actually start to attract to us on a higher level. So a sense of gratitude and freedom comes in once we go through this passage this week, and especially culminating at the weekend. In the midst of all this Scorpio energy, we do have some other aspects going on. We have Venus meeting Saturn in Sagittarius. On the surface of it, Venus and Saturn don't seem to go together. We have the Earth feminine and the teacher. But in Sagittarius, this is where we're learning the heart wisdom. So think of Venus as your heart, think of Sagittarius as the sage, and Saturn as discipline and the teacher. What do you want to put your heart into? What do you want to expand into? And take something, learn it, know it, and apply it. Make that your own wisdom. So there's a great solid learning, expansive energy there, which goes well with the creativity I was talking about, because Venus is involved. So once we've had a look at where our energy shouldn't have been, the manipulation, the psychological behaviour patterns and the pain of the past carried forwards, can Venus and Saturn show us where our energy can be put into that expansion, into that learning, into that heartfelt excitement of going on a journey of discovery and applying the wisdom that we learn along the way. We also still have at play the energy of Mars and Pluto in Capricorn. So another deep, centering, firming, anchoring energy there. The two male energies, Mars is the lower masculine and Pluto is the higher masculine. Mars is the dynamic earth male, where we put our energy, where we put our soul fire and direct it. And Pluto is the alchemical magician, of where we raise that energy up so that we can apply it to the higher levels. So that pairing brings more assistance to our Scorpio subconscious work as we take our passion and we can raise that up to the highest expression. We can actually start to build something of lasting worth. But that will also bring, and has been bringing this week, an exploration of the masculine power or disempowerment that will have shown up if there's something that needs to be built upon. So the masculine is the dynamic, it's in the female body as well as the male body, it's the dynamic active. So you may have studied where your energy is being wasted, or where other people may be seeping your power from you, or that you're giving your power away. Or even just consider where your energy is better placed for a more empowered life. But that's the combination there of Mars and Pluto in Capricorn that's been going on for the last couple of weeks and continues this week too. And finally we have Neptune in Pisces, making a very harmonic aspect to the new moon in Scorpio at the weekend. So with all that inward, with all that shadow work, we have the opportunity then to, like I say, to feel the higher vibration and to maybe swim in those waters for a while, because Neptune is your true tone, it's your spiritual tone, it's your divine connection to the vibrational universe. So once we've raised that energy and we're feeling lighter and we're feeling more expanded, we've got an opportunity there to actually swim around in those higher vibrational waters, and all of our thoughts and feelings that come from that place are actually going out into the world and creating our future. It's the realm of dreams, it's the realm of imagination. So we should be able to come out of the weekend feeling quite floaty and light, having done the hard work, having faced all of the energies that have been pulling us down. Like I say, everything that's been buried alive and repressed, liberated, freed, raised that energy up, and then just practice living in that high vibration for a while without putting any planning or action into place just yet. Just get used to that new way of being, that vibrational tone. Get used to the new you. It's a coming home really, to find your higher inner self and to start to live from that place. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. If you'd like to explore these energies more deeply and more personally, there's a number of ways that you can do that. I'm available one-to-one for readings in Camden, London, or over Skype. Or you're welcome to come and join the membership group where we're discussing the recent energies, how they apply to your chart, and many other topics of interest. And I also have some online courses. I have a foundation course, which is 3 modules in astrology to give you a good grounding in the intuitive soul side of astrology. Or you can take the full 13-module course. I also have 3 tarot courses, 2 courses working with the moon cycles, and 1 course working with the elements and how to harmonise your space. So for any of that, please do contact me, zoehind7@gmail.com.